Today, we're going to do an upcycling project to create these beautiful antique bottle brush trees. The things we need to create our antique bottles with bottle brush trees are some bottles. So I have an assortment of different bottles here. Some of them are new, some of them are old, some of them are upcycled. I have a friend who used to own an antique store that sadly closed, and when it did, she ended up giving me all of her old bottles that were on display in a top shelf. So some of these are those bottles. Some of these other bottles, though, are things that were recycled or upcycled or are brand new. So I have things like a mason jar here. I have some used spice containers. This, I think, held a Costco dessert like tiramisu or something. This is a new bottle. So there's all kinds of different things that we're going to use and transform today with these, so you don't have to have actual antique bottles. But if you do, it's even better. To help antique some of our other bottles, we are going to use some Krylon looking glass spray paint, and we are going to use some alcohol in a spritz bottle with that. Then we're going to need our bottle brush trees. So I picked up this really big pack at Michael's, and originally it was $24.99, but they had it half off, and I had an additional % off coupon, so I think I ended up paying less than $10 for 21 assorted size trees. Then at Hobby Lobby, I picked up all these little bottle brush trees that were in their little tree section where it's got like the miniature Christmas trees and their miniature ornaments. Then Michael's had these other bottle brush trees that had the little baby ones and some medium-sized ones in assorted colors. And then this pack is a medium pack that I found at Hobby Lobby as well. There are some at the Dollar Tree, but my Dollar Tree was out of them except for a box of really tiny ones that were all really smushed. So I opted to not get the Dollar Tree ones, but if you are lucky enough to find some, by all means get them from the Dollar Tree or wherever you see some bottle brush trees that you like. You may need some pliers as well as scissors, and we are going to use a hot glue gun. You may alternatively use some fake snow or little ice crystals, anything like that as well, but those are completely optional. So let's get started. All right, the first thing we're going to do is any of the bottles that don't have a lot of natural patina, like this one for instance, we're going to go ahead and add some mercury to it. Now, this one does have a tiny bit of patina, but the mercury is just going to make that stand out even more, and that's why we're using this looking glass spray. So you want to shake it up really good. Now, I've used the looking glass spray several times on different things. We use it on one of our Hocus Pocus potions. We've used it on some ornaments, all kinds of stuff. So the first thing I like to do is I like to do a quick spritz of some alcohol. You could also do water, but it just kind of helps to add to the finish. So we're going to get some little like droplets and things that the spray is not going to stick to. Then we're going to take our looking glass spray and we're just going to do a couple little hits in there. And then I like to kind of swirl it around. So that alcohol is going to help disperse that paint and just end up giving it more of an aged finish. So you can roll it around. The beautiful part about this is it dries really fast, so you're able to do several coats if you feel like you need more. Just trying to get some of this to continue to move, because it'll give us a different pattern on the inside. Now, we can help speed the drying process up just a tiny bit with a heat gun or a hair dryer, but just know that your bottle is going to get hot, so just be careful. Okay, so I'm going to let that sit and dry on its own. It really only takes like a minute or so in between coats, and you'll kind of just start to see it dry out. But I'm going to let this one sit for a little bit. We do have some of that residual alcohol, so it's kind of pushing it in. So I'm going to swirl this around. But I'm going to spray multiples of these at the same time, and then I can come back and do second coats on any that I feel like need it after they've sat and dried. But we're just kind of going for a cool antique-y effect that's going to add a little bit of a shimmer to it, which I think just kind of adds to the holiday vibe. Okay, so now that I have my first coats done, Let me show you just on this one. I don't know if you can tell, but we have this like beautiful mirror, just ever so slight effect in here. And it just makes the bottle kind of glisten. So I might do one more coat on here, but on some of these, I may just leave them with the slight mirrory effect because I think it just adds a really cool finish to them. Now that all these have been sprayed, I'm going to let them dry completely, and we're going to move on to our bottles that were naturally patinaed. All right, so while our mercury bottles are continuing to dry, we're going to go ahead and do some of the naturally patinaed bottles, and I'm going to do these brown ones. So I didn't really want to mess with the brown ones. They have really great color and texture, and I know it looks like it's dusty, but it's really not. That's just the patina on the bottle. And some of it's natural dirt, which I actually like. So I'm going to keep them as they are. But I decided that these lighter colored trees would be really cute with it. So we have this pack here from Michael's that had the like gold color and these tan ones. And I actually think these like creamy tan ones will be perfect. So you can do this one of two ways. You can take a cork like this one and try to push it in flush because you really don't want to see the cork, and then you can stick the tree into the cork. So then that way, if you decide down the line that you don't want it to be a bottle tree, you can take the actual tree part off. However, you do see the cork, which isn't a huge deal, but I just prefer the method we're going to do with the brown ones because I don't mind that these are going to just be for the winter season. And that is the beautiful part about these, is that they're just trees. I'm not using any that have like bulbs or ornaments or anything like that on there. So you could leave these out all winter. Because Lord knows, especially here, I'm in Ohio, you need stuff to get you through January, February, and even sometimes a little bit of March. Because it is just cold, snowy, and gross. So I like to take the bottom part off of the tree so that you're left with just the little metal nubbin, because we're then going to place it on top of our bottle. And this one is about the same color. I actually pulled it out of this assorted pack that was from Hobby Lobby because it's just a tiny, tiny bit bigger. Not much, just a little, but I feel like it'll be a really good size for on here. So you can kind of do a mix of different sizes. You can, sometimes I try to make it so that it's exactly the same size as the top of the bottle. It can go past it, but literally all we're going to do is take and unscrew the little wood piece at the bottom. And this is where sometimes the pliers help. And if you have to smush your tree a little bit, it's okay. Fun fact, if you have a smushed tree that maybe came to you smushed, or you smushed in the process and you can't get it to refluff back out, if you run it under hot water, it will kind of re-spring back into shape, and you just have to fluff it a little bit with your fingers and then let it dry, and it will fix any of the indentations or bent ends that may have occurred in travel, or depending on how it was packaged. Like I said, Dollar Tree had a bunch of really smashed ones. I could have gotten them and I could have run them under some hot water and reshaped them, but I just felt like it wasn't worth my time. So see how we just kind of got that off of there, and now I'll be able to glue him onto my little bottle. So I like to just add a little bit of glue to the inside edge of the bottle. And again, you don't have to go crazy, just a couple drops. And then take our little tree and kind of push it in there. Now it helps to set the bottle down so that you can make sure that you're setting it on there straight. Now they do have the metal in the middle, so you can kind of reshape them a little bit once you get them stuck into place. But it helps if you get it close to where it needs to be the first time around. All right, so that one is done. Let's go ahead and do this one. And truthfully, if you ever did want to remove these, it's just hot glue and it's on glass, so it will come off with some tugging. No problem. Pull my little stringies off. And then again, once it's on here, you can kind of refluff the tree out a little bit if you need to get it to shape the way you want. The other thing you can do is if you need to, you can always trim it. It's just a bottle brush tree. So like if you get any weird straggly edges, like, I don't know if you guys can see it. See this one right here? It's kind of hanging out a little funky. Just take your scissors and trim it off. But this gives us a super cute little tree that in a grouping especially, they are adorable. I'm going to do the same thing with this one. So these are super fun, super easy, very affordable, especially if you're using recycled bottles or maybe old bottles that you have found, or, you know, maybe your grandma has some old bottles or an old aunt or uncle that, you know, you can kind of go to their basement and find some cool bottles and upcycle them into something really fun for the holidays. And again, we just kind of pop that end off, refluff up the end. Now you could add all kinds of embellishment to these bottles. You could add some glue and glitter to make it look like snow. You could add ribbon. We could add labels. We could do anything to these and, you know, take them to other levels. But I really love the simplicity of the bottles and the trees together, and especially the ones that are with just a tiny bit of mercury, because it just kind of takes them up a notch. But look how cute this little brown tree grouping is as it is. And this will be adorable on like a little end table or even on a centerpiece, anything like that, little tray decorations. But now that these are done, let's do some of the patinaed and mercury ones. Okay, so I'm going to do a bigger one on this one. Littler guy on that one, but it matches the top of this one good. I know this one goes over a little bit, but I think it feels appropriate for the thickness of the base. And I don't know if you guys can see, but this is already becoming a super cute little grouping. And then again, on these, if you kind of look, you can see the direction that the wires are going. That's the direction that you want to screw the bases off, so you're not working against it. All right, and that gives us a super cute little grouping of all the little patinaed bottles. Okay, so now that I feel like our mercury is dried enough for this one, because it is such a big opening, I'm thinking if we put the biggest tree on here, you're gonna see through a lot of it. So I kind of want to see what some of this fake snow looks like in the mercury. It should make it stand out a little bit more. Whoop. This snow has a mind of its own. It's beautiful and looks very real, but it is definitely messy. Okay, so I actually love that it kind of pops out the mercury design even more. So I think we will do this for this one. But because we're doing the snow and I want to kind of give it a little bit of a cap, I think I might use the one that still has the snow cap and push it down and glue it in place, so then that way the snow can't just go flying. So I think we'll do something like this, where that way it's still at the top just like the other ones, but the snow is kind of trapping the snow, if that makes sense. So I think because we're doing it like that, I'm going to actually put my glue around the base of the snow. And I'm just going to run a bead because again, that'll just kind of seal it off a little bit and make it so that the little snow fluffs can't just go everywhere. All right, and I'm going to try to center this up so I can work quickly, and yeah, I think that'll work. Yeah, it's glued in and the snow is trapped. Cool. I think that one looks nice. Just kind of adds another little different element to our bottles. Now this one, because it's a little bit lower, you're not going to notice it as much, so I think I will just glue him in. Back this up so you can see. I'll just glue this one in, similar to the way we've done all the other ones, just so then that way it's just a little tree on top. Okay, so I've got a couple bigger ones here. So I think I might pair this one with potentially these two, because I feel like it'll make a nice little grouping. So I think I'm going to add a little bit of snow to each of these. I'm not going to fill it all the way up like I did this one, but I just kind of want them to tie in a little bit more. Okay, and I think that's enough in this one to just kind of add, again, a little touch of the snow. Now for this one, yes, it has the mercury effect, but some of it may not be 100% dry. And I'm actually going to use that to my advantage. I'm going to roll this snow around in here so it kind of sticks. Yeah, I think that adds a cool effect because you still get the mirror-y finish, but you get this like snowy vibe in here. And now we can add our little trees to these as well. All right, let me back this out so you can kind of see. And there's our little grouping, which I think is super cute and has a little snowy effect to it. Okay, so I already have our mason jar with the little crosshatch pattern glued on. So we're going to do this one that kind of has a similar crosshatch pattern with a medium-sized tree, and then we'll do a small one on this one, and then that'll make a nice little grouping. And as you can see, that makes a super cute little grouping as well. Well, there we have it. We have our natural patinaed clear bottles, our brown patinaed bottles with the cream trees. We have our mercury little set here that has a little diamond pattern. We have our snowy mercury trees, and then I just took these bottle brush trees out to my garage and spray painted them purple to put on these mercury bottles for my friend who gave me all of these amazing bottles. I know she's decorating with purple this year, and I thought they'd be a fun little gift I could give her to just say thanks for giving me all these amazing bottles. Another fun thing you could do with these is you could use alcohol ink to decorate your bottles up and then put the trees on top, which I think would be super fun. And you can, make these whatever you want to go with your decor. And if you did want to add, say, like a potion label to it, I do have several winter potions that we have made over the years and lots of different labels, so you could easily put one of those on here. And like I said, you can do whatever you want. You could add wrapping, you could add drips, you could add ribbon, anything fun to just kind of personalize these and make them your own. But I just thought these would be so cute and so fun and something different to do to upcycle some different bottles and jars. And again, you can leave this out all winter because there's nothing crazy Christmassy about it. So there you guys have it, a fun upcycling DIY that will be fun for Christmas or just winter. And I think it's a great way to maybe make some gifts for some friends out of something that you wouldn't have thought of doing. So if you guys like this video, give me the thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed, please do so, and we will catch you guys later. Thanks so much.